We'll now look at some example problems where we're given an angle that we need to draw in standard position. Before we begin drawing these angles, it will be helpful to make a diagram of the 4 quadrants of the XY plane. On the right, we have 0 degrees, or 0. At the top, we have 90 degrees, or pi over 2. On the left, we have 180 degrees, or pi. And at the bottom, we have 270 degrees, or 3 pi over 2. Let's now label our quadrants. Our first quadrant we'll label as quadrant 1, and that's in the upper right-hand side. The second quadrant, quadrant 2. Third quadrant is down on the lower left, and then the fourth quadrant is on the lower right. The first angle that we're going to draw is 30 degrees. Let's note that this is in the first quadrant, and we can draw it like this. We'll first draw our initial side and then our terminal side at 30 degrees. So that is an angle in standard position of 30 degrees. Our next angle is pi over 3. It may be easier to convert this to degrees in order to draw it. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So we have pi over 3, and we're going to multiply it by 180 degrees divided by pi to change it to degrees. I have a video on reviewing that concept if you would like to go watch that. So this gives us 60 degrees. We can now note that this is in our first quadrant, and we'll draw it. We begin again with the initial side, and then the terminal side goes up here because we have 60 degrees. Our third angle is 135 degrees. Let's start by noting that 135 degrees lies between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. If we take 135 degrees and subtract 90 degrees, we end up with 45 degrees. So we know that we have to go 45 degrees past 90 degrees when we draw this angle. We can also note that this angle is in our second quadrant. So to draw this angle, we'll start with the initial side along the x-axis, and then we'll go 45 degrees past 90 degrees. So that gives us an angle in this position. Let's now look at some negative angles. Our first negative angle, number 4, is minus 80 degrees. We're going to note that this is in quadrant 4, and let's also note that at the bottom of our axis, we have minus 90 degrees. So to draw this angle, we'll write our initial side along the x-axis, and then we'll go down minus 80 degrees, which is a little shy of minus 90 degrees. So there's our angle in standard position. For our last angle, we have minus 210 degrees. We'll note that minus 270 degrees is less than minus 210 degrees is less than minus 180 degrees. So our angle is in quadrant 3. And if we take minus 210 degrees and add 180 degrees, we end up with minus 30 degrees. So this means that we're going to go minus 30 degrees past minus 180 degrees. So to draw this, we'll again start with our initial side along the x-axis, and we'll label the bottom part of our axis as minus 90 degrees, and we'll label the left part as minus 180 degrees. So we're going to go past minus 180 degrees and go 30 more degrees past that. So that puts our angle right here. So this is our angle written in standard position.
If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Keep believing in yourself and have a great rest of your day.